Hey guys, what's going on? It is Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale. We're going to be reviewing a really cool Sparky giant deck. It's going to be a bait deck, all about baiting the zap out of your opponent, obviously, to really capitalize on either the Goblin Barrel or the Sparky card. A lot of you have been asking for a Sparky deck, and this was given to me, this deck, by Trainer Nick, one of our best tournament players. So before we get to that, by the way, guys, did you see this dude, Simple Sam 177 there? Look at this guy. Highest trophies, 3,500, which he's at right now, only 3 wins. Is that a weird bug? Is that some Supercell Clash Royale developer undercover? I have no idea, but we noticed that, and Dennis the Menace sent me the screenshot, and wow, I was like, what the heck is that? That is so weird. So I wonder if any of you guys caught that as well. But anyway, let's get into this actual deck here, guys. Again, a Sparky deck. This is actually, believe it or not, guys, this is the very first Sparky deck I've ever brought to you guys on my channel, so really looking forward to going over this deck. And to me, it's one of the best Sparky decks out there in terms of what you're trying to do. Every card in this deck has a role, and what I'm going to do is, on today's episode, through this first replay here, we're going to talk about the basic deck mechanics. We're going to talk about every single card in the deck and what its usage is, and then through the second and third replay, we'll go over the kind of the play-by-play, and then the fourth replay, or the fourth attack, I should say, I'll go ahead and copy the deck and give it a try in the wild and see how I can do on the ladder with the deck. So let's get to the deck. And probably the first thing we should cover when we do talk about this deck is, what if you don't have the Ice Wizard and the log? Some of you, I can probably tell, are already cursing me, saying, Ash, I only have the Sparky, that's the only reason I'm watching this video, and you're showing me a deck with a log and the Ice Wizard as well. But guys, guess what? You can interchange these cards for other cards. I actually chatted with Nick for a while about the deck, and he said that you can have plenty of success subbing out the Ice Wizard if you don't have the Ice Wizard for either the Princess if you have the Princess and not the Ice Wizard, or you can go ahead and sub in the Musketeer for the Ice Wizard, and he said that works just great. He'd prefer Musketeer over the Archers, but if you have Archers, you can give those a try as well. And then secondly, if you don't have the log, well, that's a pretty easy defensive sub as well. You can pretty much use any defensive card for the log if you don't have the log. Anything under 3 elixir, so you can use goblins, spear goblins, even skeleton or ice spirit if you want to instead of that log. So we've covered the 2 legendary substitutions. Otherwise, the deck is pretty much as seen as far as the card utility goes. You're not going to want to sub anything else out. So your defensive weapons in this deck are whatever's in that Ice Wizard spot, along with the Mini P.E.K.K.A. and the log. Those are your 3 main defensive cards that you're really going to count on defending. And obviously, the Sparky is also a defensive card. The Sparky should be used defensively to take down any tanky troop coming down the lane. And then what you can do is, you don't always necessarily have to put Sparky behind your King Tower and start a big push, as you see that Trainer Nick did in most of these examples here. But sometimes you can use Sparky defensively against a tank, against a giant, a P.E.K.K.A., against a giant skeleton, certainly anything else, a golem, anything with a lot of hit points, even a knight, for example, or a prince, and a dark prince. You can use your Sparky right there, and then you can parlay that into a really big offensive surge in that lane. So that's what you're trying to do with a Sparky card. Use him defensively, or use him behind your King Tower to get a nice offensive push going, and then you can combo him with the Giant and the Ice Wizard, and of course the Goblin Barrel. Now, offensively, what you're trying to do in this deck is bait the opponent's zap spell, as I mentioned in the beginning of this episode. That's why it's a really cool deck. It's not just about getting these big offensive pushes going, but you also have some skill required in terms of trying to bait out your opponent's zap spell. That way you can use either Sparky or the Goblin Barrel after they've used their zap. So obviously your Goblin Barrel and your Sparky, 2 heavy units that really rely on zap to stop defensively. So what you're trying to do, obviously, is just continue to bait out one or the other, and then use, you can see right here, for example, Trainer Nick right now, he has the nice push going. The opponent opted to use the zap spell on the Sparky there, and he was able to get a few hundred damage off of that tower using the Goblin Barrel as well. So you can see how this deck kind of works here. Now, Fire Spirits, we haven't talked too much about Fire Spirits. Obviously, those can be used either defensively or offensively. You have a lot of flexibility with the Fire Spirits added to the deck. And Fire Spirits in back of Sparky, in back of Giant, is really a difficult combination to stop. especially if you baited out their zap spell. So that's basically how you're going to be running this deck, guys. You can see here, for example, Trainer Nick playing this match, going against 2 Elixir collectors, and at this point, he's full in Elixir himself, so he's going to kind of take things slow, trying to get a big push going in the left lane. Now, the opponent chooses to strike in the right lane, so now you have to think a little bit defensively, don't want to overcommit too heavily on the right, so he plays the Ice Wizard there, very nice placement on the Ice Wizard, and then he uses the log kind of to buy himself some more time, and obviously get rid of that rage spell, or get the units out of that rage spell radius. Now he has, you can see the combo in the left lane, you can see he did it again. He tried to bait the zap spell out, they used it on Sparky, he was able to capitalize with that Goblin Barrel on the left tower. That's what this deck is all about. It's all about getting that combo down. And if you are a person kind of like me, who hasn't played much Sparky, some of you who are longtime viewers might know that Sparky was my very last legendary card that I was able to acquire, and I've only had him for maybe about a month now. I just could not get Sparky. Now I have him, and to be honest with you guys, I haven't played him once. I have not played Sparky at all. I'm just too into the meta that I'm very comfortable with. Hog Rider decks, I absolutely love Hog Rider decks. I dabble in some minor decks. I'm trying to become a little bit more skilled in these giant poison decks that are popular right now, that are absolutely dominating right now. Popular probably isn't strong enough of a word. So I'm playing a little bit of all kinds of decks right now. I'm trying the 2 Prince deck with the giant deck. I'm trying the giant poison classic deck, and I'm also doing, of course, the Hog Rider deck, which is my go-to for tournament play if I can ever find the time to play these tournaments lately. I've just been so busy with work picking up and everything else in life. But either way, guys, you can see here, again, Nick just capitalizing on that combination, really using the Goblin Barrel very effectively in this deck, and that's one of the cool things about this deck that Nick was, oh, by the way, I should mention this, that Nick actually shared this a while ago, maybe I think a couple weeks ago, with the entire clan family, and he's got literally like a dozen of us using this deck all throughout our alliance. So if you see anybody from Elite Nation or Elite Gaming or Elite Nation 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, then using this deck, then you know where it came from. This is a deck that Nick has been working on for a long time, and as you can see in the beginning of this episode, he has a lot of tournament wins to show for it, and this is his exclusive deck. This is his go-to here, guys. So again, here you can see he's using the giant to try to kind of distract those troops, using the log to clear a nice path here, and right away he's in a nice position here, and the opponent has no zap spell here, so this is going to be a lethal combination. Here it is. Fire Spirit's doing a pretty good job right behind that Sparky there, and here it is. Sparky unfortunately firing a little bit off to the left. Could have been much more damage, could have gotten the tower down, but he used that zap spell, and look at this, guys. Boom, very last second with like 10 hit points left, Sparky does take out that left tower, so pretty good there by Nick. And I don't think he's taken any damage on either of his towers at this point in the match, so at this point he has the Elixir advantage as well, so he's probably just going to sit back. He's going to play, I thought he was going to play Sparky there, but he's going to actually probably use a log here. He does. Look at this log, beautiful log play there, really push back that knight out of range of that Ice Wizard and also kill the princess, so a lot of value for 2 Elixir there, and I still do believe that the team plans on pushing back or adding to the pushback effect of that log on the next update, where they're going to make it able to push back any single unit in the game, including like giants and golems. I don't even know how that will actually look. It'll be kind of funny to see a log pushing back like a golem, but hey, it will be a quasi nerf to the giant when it does happen, so I think we might be seeing a ton of log play if indeed that is the case after next update. I'm not sure when next update will be, but hopefully around the corner. My guess would be maybe late September, I think, maybe early October, late September. I don't know, just kind of a guess on my part. That's, I think, when the Clash of Clans update is coming, and it seems like because both of the teams, Clash Royale and Clash of Clans, were on vacation together, on holiday over the summer, it seems like they both kind of have a quasi-big update planned for the mid-fall, so I'm thinking early October, late September. We'll have to wait and see, obviously, just a guess. So if we draw our attention back to this match here, again, Nick is found in the precarious situation of having to defend in the left lane and having to push hard in the right lane, but you can see he does well again, using the zap in the mini P.E.K.K.A. to really stop that push, and you can see in the meanwhile here on the right, he was able to take down about half the damage off that tower. So again, here comes the mini P.E.K.K.A. and the goblins, this time able to take them out with a a Fire Spirits, he takes one hit on that tower, but it's not going to be enough. Look at this combo here, a Giant, Ice Wizard, and Goblin Barrel. That's going to be enough to take that tower down, so it's going to be a 2-0 victory again for Trainer Nick using this Sparky deck. I kind of like this deck, and again, I've never been a huge Sparky fan. It seems like a lot of risk and a lot of reward, and I don't like decks like that. Personally, I like decks that you can kind of, if you play it perfectly, you're probably going to win. And I feel like when you go into a Sparky match for whatever reason, well, I guess it's a pretty obvious reason. If they have a lot of good counters, if they have minions and minion horde and zap spell, then you're pretty much screwed as a Sparky player. But with a deck like this, at least you have the opportunity to try to use that Goblin Barrel to get them to bait their zap spell, and then you have all sorts of combinations you can kind of run off that. So that's what I like to look for in a deck. And here I go, trying the deck out for myself here for the first time, so hopefully I don't lose. We're going against a level 10. I'm a brand new level 12, so it's not quite as big of an advantage as it might seem at first, but certainly it's a pretty significant advantage either way you look at it. I mean, he's only level 10, so if I don't win this match, guys, you might as well go ahead and just unsubscribe to me, because that would be pretty bad. This is a pretty powerful deck, even though my Sparky's only level 2, so I guess technically that could be the same level as his legendary cards. Anyway, who cares? We're just trying to learn the deck and play it and have a little fun. So let's go ahead and you can see I'm just basically piling everything on here in this right lane, and I think he's going to defend pretty well against it. Look at my mini P.E.K.K.A is down, and all that for nothing off of that tower. That was not what we wanted. Say well played, and let's drop this log on him right here. Then we finally do a little damage to that right tower there. We're just going to keep logging the tower. That's the deck, guys. It's a log cycle deck. I don't know. They keep buffing the log. We might get that. Who knows? So what I'm trying to do at this point here is just get the big combo going, because I don't think I'm going to... Obviously, it's too early to bait his zap spell. So let's get the Sparky going in the lane. He'll actually get slowed down a little bit by these Spear Goblins eventually, and that's actually a good thing here. It can really allow us to get a nice big push going. Oh, and look at that. He dropped that Barbarian Hut. That's going to be great. I'm going to put the Giant down over here, and the Barbarian Hut actually helps me again by just delaying my Sparky a little bit here. My Giant should lock right onto that Barbarian Hut. I'm going to use the Goblin Barrel right now, hopefully luring out that zap if he has it. I have my zap ready. I'm going to go ahead and use it right here against these Spear Goblins, and Sparky's going to go down, but we got his tower down, so that's all what it's all about there. And I'm going to put Ice Wizard over here playing defense. I could have used the log right there, and I probably should have now that I see his princess, so I'm actually going to use 5 elixir here when I only needed, excuse me, to use 2 probably, but it did hit the Barbarians, and the Ice Wizard will be able to take these Barbarians out as well, so I guess it's all a win in the end. What I'm going to do here is just go ahead and reload with Sparky, and we'll try to do the same exact thing in the left lane this time, and I'll use my Fire Spirits here. Unfortunately, that was a bad play on my part. I should have played them a little bit further up north, or not played them at all, but either way, I do protect my tower pretty well there. Let's sneak this Giant in real quick, and let's take out the Princess. Do I need to? I do. Let's take out the Princess with the log, and we should be pretty good here, guys. This is going to be a pretty good push. You can see Sparky actually took out most of those Barbarians. Now he's finally locked onto that tower. Come on, Sparky. It takes like 10 years for him to shoot, obviously. It's funny. Sparky seems to take like 10 times longer to fire when you're playing him offensively than he does seemingly when you're waiting for him on defense. It seems like he's a machine gun rapid fire mode. So that was a very good win there. Granted, 2-level advantage. You can't really write home about that, but hey, it was a good first match with a deck. So what I'm going to do, guys, is continue playing this deck, and maybe I'll do a follow-up video. I'll make some tweaks and let you guys know how I feel about the deck playing it on my own, guys. I'm curious to hear what type of success or failures you guys run into using the deck. Thanks so much for watching this episode. I really appreciate it, guys. Hope you have a great day, and as always, take care, guys.